What a day. Just put you guys in the tripod here. No horses out just at the moment. It's Zeus and I working away. And he is right here with me. So, I want to do something quick that I could get out while I'm thinking about it. And to be honest, I've placed myself a bit in the shade, but so the day looks like here. Something like that. But being under the tree doesn't help me at all, because I'm just getting all wet. Okay, I wanted to answer a few questions and calls that came through because there were so many great ones. I wonder if I'm backlit too much. I don't know if I want to face it. It's so bright here today. It's probably suntan day, you know, when you get out and in the sun and then the snow reflects up and you're like, I can't see anymore. You get snow blind. So let me just triple check here. Oh god, I can't see a thing. Picture of Zeus looks good though. Yeah. Oh, Martine, hello. I don't know how many people will see because it's the middle of the afternoon. A lot of people are working. But I wanted to just put something really quickly because I've got some really great comments that came through. Some really encouraging and supportive and sort of great advice, kind of giving comments and compliments for that matter. So that was wonderful. Now, a lot of the comments that came in were really suggestions on how to do the water, suggestions on how to sort of maintain things a little bit better. And they were really, really good. So I thought I'd answer a few of them. And this won't be very long because I'm just taking a quick coffee break with Zeus here, who is just hanging out beside me, pretty much. He's keeping guard just in case there's trouble from that direction. Okay, the problem is getting water when it's freezing. It's already starting to warm up. As you can see, it's super sunny. It's supposed to rain tomorrow now. Not today. It's supposed to snow again later on tonight. But everything's dripping kind of thing. So it's got about 2 degrees or so. Just a little bit above freezing. But anyhow. Let's see. Let me just work through some of the questions here. I'll work my way downwards because I've got lots. Luna Luhu says, what's the deepest snow you've had that they can go out in? I think that the deepest snow we've probably had that they've been out in, and I probably got video of, is got to be a good 2 feet, maybe a little bit more. And they just plow their way through. It's no problem. If it was, I think I'd even let them play if it was chest height, but I don't know. That'd be a lot of work for them to run around. Probably just to see what they do kind of thing. We don't get that much snow here. It's very, very unusual to see that much snow come through. So there you go. Let's see. A lot of really, really nice comments. I gotta say, I'm just zipping through them here because I want to get to the the ones about the water. Martine says, Really's not wearing a blanket this year. It's true. Yeah, her owner did get a hold of me and says that she'll trust my judgment on it. And I had another person actually ask if I blanket a horse, and she actually had a really great question further on to that. And I'll get, let me find it right now actually. Let me just quickly find it. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we were in Michigan. It'll get very cold here, -10 and -3 to wind chill. Do you recommend blanketing a horse in very cold weather? I've done a lot of blanketing videos and a lot of live streams where blankets. And so what I essentially say, or said to the owner and say to any owner and say to anybody here, is I'm always checking the horses to see if they're cold. I'm always checking to see if there's any problems. I'm always checking to make sure they're eating. I'm always checking to make sure they're drinking. I'm out here so many times, come out at nighttime, check on them again, make sure everything's good, lots of food, and they've got a nice full furry coat. None of the horses are in ill health, and none of them are geriatric per se. and even some of them that are kind of old, some, you know, they probably don't really have too much of a problem. So um, uh, with that, I'm always cognitive of when you go to blanket, you end up um, matting down their hair, and it's supposed to stand up. Naturally, it stands up when they're cold. They will get fuzzier naturally. And that air pocket that gets created um, allows them to stay warm. When you blanket them, it tamps that down. And you have a risk of when the blankets get all wet or they get really heavy um, and they lose their insulation ability, then the horse has no insulation ability either. And as such, usually the determination that they are cold is when a blanket would be used, but before then, they're fine. They've all got food here that keep them nice and toasty warm because they've always got something in the tummy going. They've always got energy being used. And I don't mind at all that it might use more hay than in the summertime or whatever, or spring or fall or anything, or warmer weather. That's just how it works, and that's really the best for them in my mind. And there's plenty of science out there as well that is proving the same thing. But it really is personal preference, owner preference. So to each his own. Would I blanket a horse at -10 and -30 wind chill? I would make sure that they have solid shelter in such a case. And I would be keeping a sharp eye on them as usual. Blankets don't necessarily mean that they're going to be warm, um, especially if there's any weather that gets them wet or makes the blanket wet or moist and reduces its ability to provide the insulation that it was originally meant for. So yes, Martine, there is an answer to that. Thank you for the comments on the mares with the monthly cycle, 21 to 27 days, that are on heat each month for a few days. Gracie is more than others here. Ruli's in heat too. Yes, she seems she's more active near Luke. Yeah, and she's at the back with both boys. So I think that's good for her. Gracie's always been rather hot, I guess, in that regard. So, anyways. Next question here. Susan asked, yeah, I've asked this, I may have asked this before. Have you ever thought of making their shelters walled up on at least two sides? Nope, not here. We don't get a lot of wind. It's very unusual to be really windy here. Once in a while does it ever get windy. So snow and rain coming in from the side, they just shuffle over one way or the other, and they're totally out of the rain and snow. And so if I was living in a place that was a lot more breezy, or more of an open plain or near the ocean or something like that, absolutely, I would probably wall things up more. But if we want horses in shelters more than one at a time, you want a little bit more open space so there's good escape in case one wants to chase the other out, or they need to play or whatever. So as I have no need to spend that extra money or the time to do it, and they don't need it either, I have not done it and don't plan to. So great question though. Okay, lots of questions. My goodness, I haven't done a proper Q&A in such a long time. I had somebody ask me a little bit more of an odd question. They have 1 acre of land and they need to drain their field. Do you think there's a lot of work involved? I said, yes, probably. It's an acre. And drainage is always the same. High ground is to be dry. Low ground is where your water is going to go. As the plumber says, poop goes downhill and payday's on Friday. Just make sure your water's going down somewhere and it can escape and get away. This place is totally graded, so all the water travels back, and I make sure that it does through pipes and drainage rock and little ditches and big ditches and the pond and stuff like that. You want to have a place for your water to go away. So it's a bit of work, but once it's done, it should be just clockwork after that. Barbara had asked for a video on using a leaf blower. I did that today. Hopefully you'll see that tomorrow. Somebody asked about, AJ Smith asked about colic with extreme temperature changes. I haven't experienced that myself. I haven't really heard much about that either. I'm sorry that you experienced it. That really sucks. And it's hard. Colic is difficult. Because really it just means sort of a stomach or intestine sort of issue. You don't really quite know what it is. The only time we experienced it was actually reasonably recently, and I did respond, but I'll say here with Macaroni, when he wasn't eating the hay, or the hay was really not setting him right, which I sent all back, got brand new hay, and he's fine since. Took him to the vet. The vet didn't really do anything. Gave him a little, I think they gave him Banamine just a little bit for some pain. Checked his blood, and I keep meaning to do a video about blood test results and stuff, but time and remembering. So no real experience nor an understanding that big swings can cause that. A great question that came in: how do you combat that, or how do you prevent colic? A lot of colic is prevented by making sure your horses have 24/7 hay, where it's consistently going through their body. That is the absolute best. And nice available water. It's clean and fresh, and don't let them dehydrate, the usual. Honestly, I think that's the very best thing that you could do for your horse. So hopefully that helps. Let me just check here. Rebecca's here. Hi, Zeus. Zeus is here. It's right there. Rebecca from Las Vegas. Hello, Rebecca. And Sue. Hi, Sue. Hello, Andrew. Move a little to your right. My right? Really? Where's my chair? How about that? That should be good. Okay. So I don't know if I was out of frame for a while there. Quick question. Does the mare go into heat more frequently and more intensely if a stallion is nearby? Hello, Kimberly. I would imagine that it would be more likely. I don't actually know, though. I think I'd said in my other video, I have no idea about the breeding process, but I actually do plan on sitting down with my veterinarian, who is becoming an expert in the field, and I'm hoping to do an interview kind of process. I did talk to him about doing interview processes, things for things like teeth and some hoof stuff, and so hopefully I can get a little bit of his time, and we'll sit down and we'll chit chat about breeding, cycles of mares, whether stallions have an effect on them. I think that they do, but I would imagine that just nature itself is just, during a certain time, it's going to be more likely. So just a guess, though, just a guess. So I don't know. Andrew says, I have rescued horses that have had blankets that were never removed for years. They had no hair. In time, it grew back. Andrew, it's an interesting point. When we got Macaroni, he was blanketed for wintertime, and he had prolific rain scald. I don't know if it's due to that, but I have seen plenty of that as well. Not to say that for sure. No, it's just a truck. It's just a truck. Calm down. He's growling. The truck that slowed. Stop. You're okay. There's nobody there. So gave him a good clean-ins, good brush-ins, all clean-ins, disinfecting kind of idea of those spots. Just settle down. There's nothing there. Your little eyesight isn't working that well. And he's fine. He's never had rain scald since. Yay. Knock on wood. I don't know. I think he'd be fine. Ask the vet. Yes, I will, Martina. I'll see if I can get that done. Hair does grow back. Gracie is a great example of that. She came with missing hair on her chest. Where else was it missing? A couple places. Obviously, she's as fuzzy as she could possibly be. She was pretty much cleared up in a few months, a couple months at most. It was summertime, so not a lot of hair needed to grow back. But she everything grew back, and it's never been that way since. She's been tip top. So, moving back to my other questions. Let's see. I had an awesome comment. If you guys ever have the boredom or time for it, there was a comment from Ryan over the video of just a few problems with my new genius horse watering method. And he literally writes, I know exactly how you feel, because I'll literally go to do something and I'll need a tool and I'll go find the tool. If it's not in the right place, I have to go to the other place, find it in there, find out that it doesn't quite work, go need a specialized tool to fix it, to go to the toolbox to find out that it's been buried underneath something. And then to be able to unbury it, I got to be able to move the car to get out of the way. And the battery's dead because it's not the daily driver. It just goes inside. I feel for you. So funny stuff. So Laura in Vermont said, do you ever get snowstorms to the point that all you can see is the tip of Zeus's tail as he tunnels through the fresh snowfall? I sent you a video. I think you watched it. The highest the snow really was, sort of butt height and it was just mainly his tail that you can kind of see, and his nose when he stuck it out. It's good stuff. If anybody here is watching this now and you're curious as to what that was, it was Zeus's Adventures #1, #2, and #3. They're cute, kind of fun to watch. Let's see. Okay, all right. So Nightfire Moving Pictures wrote a terrific comment that I haven't been able to make it through completely. But the idea was to take some bigger pipe and put a littler pipe inside to go all the way down there. That's not a bad idea. It'd be a heck of a lot of money though, because 4-inch pipe around here runs about $14 a piece. I could probably get cheaper stuff if I didn't need something that was graded. So I mean, maybe if I spent $9 for 10 feet, I've got probably 200 to 200 feet for sure. So say it's $10. You know, that's just for the outer pipe, and then some insulation inside that, and then the hose that's got to go. I already have the hose, so that's a no-brainer. It's no problem. The insulation that goes, I don't know what I'd use for insulation on the inside. It would be very expensive. And for the amount of times that everything freezes up around here, I think I could probably find a better method. I love the idea. And then also there's the idea of using electrical line to heat it. But that stuff's not very effective for really long distance from my understanding. Of course, you can take hose with electrical line that runs through it and then put some like pool noodle type of sort of styrofoam insulation around it. But for every other time other than winter, I'd either need to remove it or really protect it, because sooner or later the horses are going to stomp on it and wreck it. And so, I don't know. Great idea. I like it. So I have to keep on thinking of that. Oh, I had a great comment from Georgia, that I think everybody should do, and I'm going to do a video on it. The no frost that I have that I showed, the suggestion was to take an old jacket or an old piece of wool or blanket kind of idea, put it on top so that it doesn't freeze. I'm actually going to make custom covers for mine. I think I've seen them in the past. It's a great idea. Thanks for the reminder. I shall do that. Zeus, it's just some snow falling, man. Yeah. He's watching everything. The birds are going crazy. Okay. Let's see. I know I had another one. Oh, another great suggestion from Marianne was to use the tote, but not to use the valve at all. So essentially, keep the valve open, but have a pipe or a hose that comes off of there. And what that will do is it'll just sit up high, and that way you don't have to worry about the valve freezing. I thought that's not a bad idea at all. I like that a lot. So there's another suggestion that I'll probably put into effect. Thank you for the suggestion. Another, I think, lady asked, how about building a snow or a sled or a wheeled stand for the water container? Bonus points for hose storage under the container. Then you just pull it along, so on and so forth. A trailer would be a little bit of a pain because I got to get around a couple of tight corners. So I likely wouldn't do that. I'd still want to opt for something that's going to go in the back of the gator because of the turns that I need to make to get all the way to the back. Because as well as this place has been planned out, it certainly wasn't planned out to the abilities of that. Not that it couldn't be done, because obviously I could go through the arena for some things, but if I need to back up or anything, backing up a trailer is a total pain, especially on a short throw. So it would be better if I could just put it in the back of the gator. But thanks for the suggestion. I really appreciate it. Not a bad idea. I'm just not that good, and I haven't planned this place out well enough for that. So Ida had a great suggestion. She says, the Canadian winter where a hot water kettle and a charged auxiliary battery are your weapons of choice. It's so true. For short stints, it doesn't allow it to charge up well, so you got to supplement that with a proper charge, which I should have been doing every couple of months or something like that for the battery, for the longevity of the battery. Okay, Richard had a great idea. He said, you probably already solved the hose and adapter problem. I actually haven't. I have not had time to get to the hardware store, but he had a better idea. He says, go to the pool and spa store, which I do have a good one. not too far from here, and I might end up doing, because they'll have better fittings, which is true, and they'll have the proper hose, which is true, rather than the hardware store, which would be more likely to have stuff for houses, which this will not be on. The pool and spa, absolutely. So great. Thank you for that suggestion. It's a great idea. Wear some gloves. I haven't heard that suggestion yet. Honestly, thank you everybody for your concern for my hands. So far, so good. I haven't lost any fingers yet. Putting in a water heater in the tank so that I wouldn't have to drain it. It's already mostly empty by the time I bring it back. So, because it's not going to be able to hold that. Somebody else had a suggestion to top it up real full. I can't. I don't think the Gator would hold half of that tank of water, which I don't need it to anyways. I always said I only needed about a third of the tank to be full. So the tank is way oversized for what I need, but it's sturdy and strong, and I can use it for other things in the future probably. So I'm not too worried, you know. But I couldn't fill it all up anyways. So either way, it'll be empty when it comes back. Mostly empty. I might as well just drain it out. Then I don't have to use the electricity. I don't have to worry about something. And somebody else had another suggestion. I know I'm talking so fast, but I have so many things that I want to get back to. A 12-volt pump to pump the water out of that thing. And I voted against that as well. It's a great suggestion, but I didn't want to rely on another piece of technology or electricity or something that could break when you're out in the freezing cold and stuff. And likely I would actually have to keep the thing quite warm, or the pump would seize and break. So we don't want any of that. And of course, everybody laughed at me when I got wet. So, but anyways, I really appreciate those suggestions. They're all great suggestions. They just don't quite fit the situation. So I'm still going to go with the idea of gravity because it's simple and easy and will work. If I can get the proper hose that literally will just gush the water out so fast that it'll be done. And Marianne made one suggestion. She says, be careful or get some practice lifting it up, because a lot of people ended up getting soaked because they couldn't lift it up fast enough or out of the way or something like that. So yeah. Anyhow. And then there were suggestions to make a mini shelter, maybe just a tarp or something like that. I will be trying to do that for that thing. And that'll keep, it's got to be enough that it'll keep the snow off, that I don't have to really worry too much. It's not going to collapse. So I got to put some thought into how I'm going to build that. But before then, I've just been trying to maintain this place. It's a lot. It snowed again last night. So yeah, there you go. I think that's most of the videos that I really wanted to get to. Yes, I did. Good. Yeah, so that catches me up for all those questions that I didn't catch up on when I was doing my video last time, when I said everybody gave me some great suggestions. I want to get back to them. Well, now I think I've finally done that. David's here. Hello, David. Oh, Martine, thank you very much. You're already on Patreon. You don't have to do anything here. I really appreciate it, of course. Everything goes to something around here. ML Calhoun is here. Happy New Year. You haven't been able to catch a live stream. Well, I haven't done very many live streams. So, how about attaching a pair of old skis to the bottom of the water tank? Thanks, Sue, but I'm definitely not going to be dragging that thing around. Ah, I see what you're trying to say. Not quite like that, eh? I had an old pair of skis that were left here from the previous owner, but I chucked them. But I might be able to find some at a pawn shop or somebody giving them away or something like that. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. Thanks, Sue. You're full of good ideas. Terrific. Danielle's here. Hi, Danielle, in your green world. It's white here. So I think I've got all the questions figured out, or comments. Terrific. Honestly, just really, really helpful. There's stuff that I'll be thinking about, and I won't think about another line of thought or something like that. And so it's good. Zeus is here. He's been here the whole time, in case you guys are wondering. It's just hanging out. So anyhow, I've got to get on with my day a little bit, unless anybody else has any more questions. I wonder if I've been in frame at all. There, that's a little bit better. Maybe something like that. But yeah, it's been very busy trying to get everything just organized, horses fed, make sure water's good, clear all the pathways, and there's a lot of them. I'm going to take a little bit of video, so hopefully you guys will see something sort of interesting later on or tomorrow or something. What else? Nothing. That's it for now. All right, Zeus, not much. But I did want to get back to everybody who comments, because I try to get back to the computer and type some stuff out, but it takes a while. And sometimes it's just easier to make a video. So this is what today looks like. It's just starting to cloud over. It was some beautiful blue sky earlier. And now it's going to snow again. Great. You can see how high my little banks are. Everybody's quite quiet today. It's a nice day. Mild, not too cold, especially when you're working. So, well, you're welcome. Oh, Danielle has a question. You're welcome, Kimberly. It's a pleasure to check in with everybody who comes and hangs out and takes the time to make some really nice comments and all that kind of business. And compliments and encouragement and support. It's invaluable, literally invaluable to me. Okay, I'm going to place this. I'm going to see what Danielle's question is. Let's see. Have you used... Danielle, I did see your video. Okay, I have a suggestion for you, because I saw your video on hoof armor. Just a second here. That's just too high. That's too high. I don't want that. I placed this down low because I was sitting, but now I'm standing. So, all right. Just a moment in time, if you could. Wait. Okay, Danielle, hoof armor. I want to do this somewhere slightly different. Let's raise you guys up rather than down. Just a moment, please. Okay, that should be a little better. Let's frame things up so you can actually see. There goes Zeus. He's busy. Very busy. Hey, come here. Okay, Daniel, you're going to get something that's going to look a little like this, right? You've got your applicator gun. You're going to get something that's going to look a little like this, which is a two-part. It's Zeus, 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 Zeus. Hey, come here. Come here quickly, quick. You bark too much. Yeah, calm down. There's nothing happening. Okay, so you're going to get something that's going to look like these. You've probably already seen the packaging stuff. And then inside of there also you're going to get, and this is very, very common thing, you're going to get these little doodad applicator tips. And I don't know if it's going to focus. It's probably not going to focus, is it? I can't even get it to focus. Stupid camera. Okay. Anyways, inside is this little spirally doodad thing. And the point where it goes on to here has two inputs, because there's two things. So essentially you're putting on sort of carbon fiber reinforced epoxy with a little bit of, I don't know, some kind of fungicide or bacteria killing something in it. And so when you go to apply it on, you're going to put this in and so on and so forth, and you're going to put it on the ground. You're going to make sure that these two little channels that spiral together are mixed up really well. You'll probably squeeze through a whole length of it, And then somewhere, when it gets down to here, somewhere up here, it'll start to look like it's mixing properly. If you're unlucky. If you're lucky, it'll look like it's mixing properly from the get-go. So I saw your video, and I was unsure if hoof armor would be your solution, but you can give it a go. But you're going to, just like any epoxy, you want to apply it to a hoof that is dry, which is why they recommend talcum powder, because the talcum powder will absorb that moisture kind of thing. We really just want to make sure it's really super dry. And you don't want to apply it heavy, like any epoxy. It is not to be applied heavy. It's to be applied very light and smooth, and it doesn't take long to set either, so that's really handy. And the effect of it is to harden the bottom for less wear, less moisture absorbance kind of thing. But if there is any pressure that hurts the foot from the sole, this won't solve that much. This is really to help the sole grow more. So you were talking about that there's a piece that come off and stuff, and you need to grow more. I'd be really concerned about that. If it were me, I would likely choose to boot the hoof first with the gator to see if I could get it to stay with the gator for a while. And if that didn't work out, then I do like did with Gracie, where you glue it on for a little while and just let nothing touch it. Let no pressure land on it, essentially because the boot will handle, it's hard on the bottom, so we'll handle all that. The frog and the peripheral edge of the hoof wall and stuff will handle the rest of the load. The sole will never see pressure to cause any cracking or any other problems. I think that's a bit of a better approach from what I understood that you said your problem was. I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, then great, obviously. Hoof armor will assist in making the bottom harder and provide an extra layer of protection in the case that it's a little bit soft or getting wet too often, things like that. It can be terrific. It's a wonderful product overall. But it is really quite simply carbon fiber reinforced epoxy, which is a fantastic invention for horses. I couldn't believe anybody hasn't done it up until now. So great idea to get it. Simple to apply. It's like any epoxy or any two-part sort of glue or something like that, like concrete glue or epoxies or two-part things. Just squeeze, squeeze and apply. Not much. There's a lot of videos out there. Let me just put this back. Okay, does that answer your question? I'm back here. We'll just point it at Zeus and I'll look at the comments. Okay. Let's see. I think I got your question pretty good. I'm worried about the punctured area and it's getting infected. He's showing he's a little uncomfortable on it today. He usually has really great feet. Snow gone from the tree. Yeah. Sorry, I lost the connection. Thank you. Yeah, I'd be pretty worried about the punctured area as well. Infection is definitely going to be a problem if it is punctured and then gets dirty. Hence, sort of the thought process. I'm just going to flip around to me. Just a second here. Ooh, that is a fuzzy. Let's face it this way. That won't be so. So, yeah, infection in the foot can cause more subsolar abscessing. Subsolar abscesses take forever to go away. They're really hard to solve, which is why I sort of had thought about the idea of a boot, like a boot that would cover the whole bottom, or a glue-on boot, something that could be removed without damaging the hoof wall, so not something that's nailed on. And gluing on is very effective throughout the year, wet, cold, warm, whatever. But essentially just providing a big barrier. And then the idea of using a gator first is so that, like what I did with Gracie, so that I could check every day without having to, because you can't remove the glue every day. It'd be such a pain to do that, and expensive for that matter. So using a gator to kind of keep it on, and then take it off, and you could apply poultice. Sugardyne is quite a, don't take any veterinary advice from me whatsoever. I wouldn't want to be responsible, but if it were me, I would probably try a Sugardyne, and see if I could draw anything out and disinfect at the same time, and then keep it protected. If you can't get a boot in any timely manner, the other thing that you can do is keep a horse on stall rest, obviously, and wrap with some vet wrap, and then underneath the vet wrap, you can just get some. Just a minute. Okay, underneath the vet wrap, you can use padding, and this is a pad cut to a hoof, the hoof that, or the horse that I was using it on, and you can see the indentations of where the heels were, the frogs here, obviously, duh, no kidding, but it went beyond the peripheral edge of the hoof. And this went in a boot. You can sort of see the track, or the indent of the boot there, but you could still use these underneath a good wrapping of vet wrap, and then some duct tape, essentially to protect. And I did that with Gracie as well. I don't know if I did a video about it. Did I do a video about that? If not, and I probably could, I should. I think I did. Anyhow. Yeah, so this can be sort of a backup for a boot, or a very temporary thing, because it might just work its way out really quickly. You never know. Ideas, just ideas. You never know. Might get something from that. So, live chat. Huge feet. Yeah, that's the other thing. It is hard to deal with when you got the bigger feet or the smaller feet, is that there isn't anything that really fits them. So, I'm sure it'll all work out. Horses are pretty tough, and they usually get through things. Just care for it, keep an eye on things. But that's another idea. Okay, I think that's it for now. If that's everybody's questions, I think it was. So, yeah, I think we're good. All right. That's what my day looks like at the moment. I got to get on with some things here. Thank you everybody for coming and visiting for this quick Q&A, relatively quick Q&A. 40 minutes. I gotta go. I got things to do, you guys. That's it. Zeus and I say goodbye for now. Say bye, Zeus. Rough. Okay. Bye, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, probably tomorrow. Okay.